Alright, Reg here, and welcome to the next video in my series of video tutorials for Earthbound Music Editor. Now in the last video I went over these control codes and what they do, and I went over E0 for setting an instrument. And it took me a while to cover this, and I don't want to spend all my time going through all of these. So I'm just going to be really brief. I'm not going to show any examples. We'll take care of seeing what they do when we actually go to making a song. But for now, I'm just going to explain what these do. So for the simple ones, I'll show examples. But besides that, stuff like vibrato and all that, I'm not going to worry about those right now. Slide, global volume, none of that stuff. But anyways, we'll just go ahead and get started. Recapping from the last video, E0 sets your instrument. So like if I wanted to use a square wave, which is 0D for the 05 primary instrument pack, I just type E0 0D. That's it, and you've set that instrument for the channel you've entered it in, like right here, which is actually a saw wave, but now it's a square wave, as you'll hear here. And the next code after that is E1 panning, and what it is the number you put here. We'll tell the SPC which speaker of the stereo to play out of, and you can 0 sets the sound all the way to the right speaker. A is the default setting. Like if you don't set E1 at all, it'll just play in the middle, and 14 plays from the left speaker. And you can set it to any number in between for the so you can just play the sound seamlessly from any point between the left and right speaker. I guess I'll show an example of that. So like if I want the sound to play out of the right speaker only, I just put in E1 0 0. You see it played out of only one ear. It didn't play out of the other. So now that we've taught you that, E2 time panning. What this does is it's more of a slide. Like let's say I set E2 over here, like right after E1 over here. If I set E2 there, what I set is the time. Like let's say I put 60, and panning is the desired number here I want to set, like what ear I want it to play out of. When the song starts playing and it hits this control code, it will gradually shift the panning of the notes over to that ear. And so that's basically it about that. Vibrato. This basically just vibrates the notes. Start is when it'll start vibrating after the note starts playing. Speed is how fast it vibrates, and the range is how strongly it vibrates. So I'll show this when I actually get to working on a song, but we're not going to show examples because it'd take a little bit too much time. Anyways, moving on. E4 will turn the vibrato off. The vibrato will stay on. If you set it once, it's kind of like a permanent setting. So if you want to cut it off, you just set E4 before the note where you want it to stop. And now shut down the vibrato. E5 will change the global volume. See right now down here it's C0. So if you want to change that volume, you can just use E5 and then set FF A0 60, and it'll shift the volume for all the channels to that. E6 is the same thing, but it works just like E2, the time panning. You just set a time, how long it takes, and when it hits that note, it'll lower or raise the volume. E7 is the tempo. That changes how fast the song plays. By default, it's 20. So let's say I want to make this faster. Let's see, first I'm going to remove the panning because it's kind of annoying. I'll set E7 30. This will make the song play a lot faster. And then if I set it to 10, it'll play a lot slower. So you see that. Basically, hold up. I've got a recording thing in the way, so I can't move this. So what I'll do is I'll just do this. Alright, there we go. Anyways, moving on to the next note, we talked about tempo. E8 is slide tempo. Works just like E6 and E2. You set how long it takes for the tempo, and it'll slowly speed up, or quickly speed up, whatever. It'll speed up or slow down the song, basically. That's what it does. E9 is a transpose. This is for the global transpose. So, like, let's look at this real quick. We'll delete that. Okay, you hear that? Alright, now if we change E9 to, we do E902. As you can see, it's more higher pitched. That's because each note has been shifted up 2 notes. I mean, two pitches. So if you want to fine-tune all the channels at once, you use E9. But if you want to just shift the pitches for just one channel, use EA instead. EA is just for a single channel. So if I just do this, only channel 0 will be affected if I just use EA. Anyways, moving on. I covered EA. EB, that sets the tremolo on. That works just like vibrato, only instead of vibrating the noise, it's kind of like a constant fade in, fade out. So like start, just it's when it starts. Speed is how fast the volume will shift, and range is how strong the volume shift is. So if like it's a really high number, the song will get the note will get really quiet, and then it'll bring up. It's pretty good for like strings or something. If you want the song to not sound, you know, static, like it's just one continuous noise. If that gets annoying, you can use the tremolo to bring some variation into that. And EC, just like E4 does for E3, it will cancel the tremolo. So if you want to turn off the tremolo, you just use EC. ED is like E5, but it only changes the volume for a single channel. Like for channel 0, for the default volume for a channel is FF, but you can change that with ED. And EE works just like sliding tempo, sliding global volume. It's just you set a time, how long it takes, and the volume is whichever volume you want it to go to. EF, you don't have to worry about this because this is actually the subroutine. This is the subroutine codes I talked about earlier, but because it's kind of complex and complicated to handle, GoPlat just put in a syntax, and the editor takes care of everything. So yeah, this is basically just a subroutine repeating notes thing. So don't worry about this. Just worry about the syntax. That asterisk 0,2 like I showed in an earlier video. Moving on. Actually, we're running out of time, so I'll cover the rest of these. There's not too much left to cover, because a lot of these in here are unused or useless, and I'll just cover the few remaining good ones in the in a later video, or in the next video. So anyways, if you have any questions, just ask in the comments, and thanks, and have a nice day.